Hello and welcome to Gate City Insider. I'm Rosemary Plybon. We're talking football today in Greensboro. That's right, the Carolina Cobras. They opened their season with a win on the road, then another at home. They hope to follow that with a couple more, all the way to the championship. By the way, that's exactly what they did last year, winning the 2018 National Arena League Football Championship in the very first year of the franchise in Greensboro. So we're just hoping for another year just like that. Brian Smith is the VP of Business Operations for the Carolina Cobras. So glad to have you with us. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
This is so much fun. Let's talk about last year for a minute. You were actually on the sidelines last year coaching.
I was on the sidelines and the business side. I was the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach, so I was doing a little bit of everything last year.
Was it just a magical year? I mean, did you know you had something special?
As it went on, we did. Putting everything together in such a short time, 72 days, you really don't realize everything, but when the players got here, you just kind of felt that this was a special group, and it was that feeling just went as the year went on. It just got bigger and bigger, and then with the championship.
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about the run. Like, how did you build to that championship last year?
We started. Myself and the head coach got here, and we walked into the office with 2 folding chairs and a folding table, and that's what we started with. So, and then our players, recruiting our players, getting the right players in here, getting everything that we had to get done, and then before you know it, training camp was here, and you're winning some games, but you just feel the bond that the players had. You just never had any issues. They were willing to be out in the community doing anything that they could do, and you just felt it was something special. But you really never know until you get to the end, and you're like, wow, that was incredible. So we look back, and it was just like, man, this was really one of the more special championships that I've ever won.
Let's talk about some of the players. I know we have a Greensboro player, a graduate of Page High School on the team, James Summers. Yep. First year on the team.
James Summers, this is his first year. Went to East Carolina. Great young man. Has been putting in a lot of work. He's trying to get back to the NFL, and this is a great opportunity for him to showcase his talents. And he's been an awesome young man to have around.
And some other players to watch?
Charles McCollum, our quarterback, been a vet, been with us many years, great player. Jordan Jolly, wide receiver. People will love Jordan Jolly. He's a guy that just has a lot of fun. Defensively, Mike Green, who is
the general.
The general, one of the best indoor DBs you're ever going to see. Just incredible. He's a coach on the field for us.
That's nice.
Yeah, he really is. He's great. And then Walter Thomas, our defensive lineman, big guy. You can't miss him when he walks in the door, but he is definitely one of the premier defensive linemen in arena football.
So where did most of the players come from? Are they straight
Everywhere.
from college, NFL?
Straight from college, NFL. You'll get guys that are vets of the arena football games. So we get them from everywhere. We've got guys from Texas, Atlanta, California, right here in Greensboro, Ohio. We recruit all over. So they come from everywhere.
And you said you're looking for players who are not just good players, but are good team players too.
Yeah, you don't want just really good football players. You want guys that are great in the community. They, they interact well with kids, fans, and that's the one thing with our guys is, during the game, they're going to be talking to the fans. As the game's going on, they'll be sitting there talking. It's not unusual for somebody to be sitting in the front row with a popcorn and one of our players come over and grab some popcorn. It's not unusual. And it's not unusual for coaches to do that. Myself and Billy, every so often you'll see us over there and, hey, you want some popcorn? Sure. So it's a lot of interaction, but having players that, are good in the community, that do a great job of interacting with the fans, that's the key to everything.
And they all have different goals, I guess. You said some want to get back to the NFL, some are career players in arena football.
Yeah, some want to get back to the NFL. Some of them are just,
Love
they
the
know
game.
that the NFL is not going to come calling, so they do it for the enjoyment of doing this, playing football and being around it. So you get all kind of different guys.
Do they have different jobs? What are they doing it? I mean, other jobs.
Some guys will work jobs now. We've got some players that work jobs, after practice, things like that. We have some guys that work in the off season and save up money. Again, the players aren't paid very much,
Right.
But they do it for again, the housing is free, the medical, food, everything like that is all free. But for them, it just depends on what they're looking to do. And so with a lot of these guys, we have a lot of the younger guys, especially, are trying to get back to the NFL. The older guys, you know what? If they come calling, they're not going to complain. But at this point, they do it because they enjoy it.
Yeah. And explain a little bit about what arena football is for those who haven't been to a game. How does it differ from high school football, college football, NFL?
Obviously, it's a shorter field, 50 yards, 8 players aside rather than 11. But it's just more faster paced and more fan interaction with the players, which I think is the key to what makes it popular with fans once they come to a game, because the players, you're up close and personal. You see them in the community. You talk to them on social media. They're not going to big time you and not talk to you. Our players will go out of the way to talk to you. They will, you'll see them in the community. They'll be eating at a restaurant and fans will come in and they'll sit down and start talking to them, and they don't have a problem with that. Our players love being around the fans. So it's a different experience for fans that come to a game, because it's that more interaction, that more fun. There's more going on than just going to a normal football game.
How are you feeling about the upcoming season? Or
I
this
feel
season
good.
that we're in, I guess.
I feel good. We've got a great group of guys. We've got a great coaching staff, and I feel very confident in what we're doing every day.
All right, well, we are excited about it. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more with Brian. We're going to talk about kind of how the Cobras got started here in Greensboro, and also his journey with football. That's coming up right after this quick break. You're watching Gate City Insider. Welcome back to Gate City Insider. We're talking football today. We're here we've got the Carolina Cobras here with us today. Brian Smith, VP of Business Operations, is here to tell us about the team. Now, I know you have been with this organization for years before the Carolina Cobras have only been in operation here in Greensboro for about a year, but you've been with the business side of this for a while.
Yeah, I've been in Texas. I've been in Tri-Cities, Washington. I've been in Des Moines, Iowa. I've been in Kentucky. I've coached professionally for 12 years, but I've also done the business side. I've done everything from being general manager, football operations, vice president. I've even done director of multimedia. So I've done just about every job that there is on this side.
And that's kind of what you have to do, right? You got to do that.
You've got to wear many hats.
So did you play football growing up?
I played football in high school. I was actually, the funny part is I was more of a baseball guy than a football guy. Even though I had success in football, but I had more success in baseball, and that was kind of my sport. But then, after high school, in college, things like that, then I got into coaching football, and, it became my love. So, that's kind of where I switched to and where I've done for 25 years.
And so you coached high school football, right?
Coached high school football for many years. And then I started coaching professional football in a little town called Marion, Ohio.
Okay.
And I always tell the story that, my first professional coaching job, I got paid $100 a game and was spending $400 a week to do it. So that was my start.
And was that and how did you end up with this organization and then the road to the Cobras?
Really kind of the road to Cobras is I've coached a lot of different places, and then me and the head coach, Billy Back, we've noticed it. We were actually rivals at one point coaching professionally. We we literally were coaching two separate teams. I was head coach across the bridge where he was. So we were fighting for fans and everything. Even though we were in a different league, we were fighting fans. But we became friends, and you know, we're like family now. And so we started coaching together in Texas. And even though we've known each other for years, and we've just kind of gone where we go, and then we ended up here and putting this together, and so that's.
So when they said, we're thinking Greensboro, had you been to Greensboro? Had you heard of Greensboro?
I've heard of Greensboro, but I had never been here. So we had a couple conversations about it, and at first we were not sure if we really were wanting to take the job, but the more we talked about it, the more we were like, yeah, this is definitely the place to be, and I love it here. I've lived here a year, and I enjoy it here.
I was going to say, so you've been here for a year. You've kind of gotten to know it. Although I know I'll say you don't love downtown.
Downtown,
It's
no,
not easy to
no,
get around town for him yet.
For whatever reason,
I
I
can
can
be here more.
I can go to downtown in Dallas, Texas, and have zero problems. I come to Greensboro downtown, and all I have is problems. So I have not figured that out
You
yet.
just don't have the right tour guide. I'll be your tour guide.
You need to be
just
my
need
tour guide
yeah.
because you're the only person that's made this easy.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. Well, we aim to make it a little easier for you. But what do you like about Greensboro?
I love the people. The one thing that I loved about Texas was the people. And so coming here, was the first thing that I noticed. Is I love the people. The people are great to talk to. Our fan base is amazing, and I hear from them on social media all the time. And, so the people are amazing. I love the area, just the things to do. So it's been a lot of fun.
You've talked about talking to the fans. So you're able to talk to the fans when you're on the field, even in the community, through social media, of course. Community is really important to you. I know I've heard you say that a lot.
It really is. For us to be successful, we've got to A, be in the community, and B, then we've got to have that support of the community. Because without the community, there is going to be no Cobras. I mean, that's any team. So us being in the community, in the schools, everything that we do, that's important. And then, for the community to obviously support us, come to the games, be part of what we do, it's that marriage that makes a successful organization.
Yeah, I was at a community reader day at Irving Park Elementary a couple months ago, and in walk, I mean, there I am reading to the kids, and then all these Cobras players come in, and the kids are like, oh, whoa, and suddenly, they don't want to see me anymore.
Yeah, all of a sudden you could have gone home and like,
I really just could have gone home. Yeah. They were quite a presence walking in, that's for sure.
Yeah, they create a presence wherever they go. It's fun to watch, especially going to schools. I've gone a couple times with them to schools, and I love watching the kids' reactions.
Yeah.
Especially where kids have been to the games and they kind of know the players or they know the players, and these guys just walk in and it's just like everything stops. And that's the fun part for me is when I just, like you said, I mean, you're talking and all of a sudden these players walk in and all of a sudden they don't even know you're there.
Right.
And I've seen them do it. I mean, they players walk in and teachers are like, at that point,
We're done.
We're done. We can go home. As long as they're here, they've got their full attention. So it's always fun to watch.
And the players have to love it. I mean,
they really do. Our players are great with the fans. They're great with the kids. They love doing things with them. They love the community involvement. And that's one of the things for us. We don't recruit just football players. We want good people. And we want people that are going to be good in the community. If you're a great football player, but you're bad in the community, you're not helping. You're not helping the situation. In fact, you're probably going to make it worse. And you see that through sports all the time. I mean, the quickest way to people to know who you are is for a player to do something wrong because it'll end up on the front page. But yet you don't see on the front page when these guys are going to the schools and doing that stuff. And so. We want guys that are going to grind and be in the schools, do the right things, talk to the kids, be a positive influence in the community. And
it's really a team philosophy, and it goes
really
all the way
is,
up
yes.
through the office, to the coaches, up through the front office.
It really does. We've again, without the community, there is no Cobras. So we've got to do the right things in the community, and then that the community then embraces us, and that's where you get the marriage and where you get the good things, and get the people coming to your games.
Are you in it for the long haul?
Oh, absolutely. We've put so much into it already. So you just have to be able to building a football team is always a 3-year deal. The first 3 years are always the hardest, and then it gets easier. It's just unfortunately a lot of teams don't put the commitment in to realize that the first 3 years is your building, is your building block, and then everything you're still building, but everything from that point, it gets easier. It's just that first 3 years is a lot of hours.
A lot of hours, but it is paying off.
It is paying off.
So,
we're seeing it. We're more and more. A year ago, really hardly anybody knew who we were. We only had 72 days, but now. More
now
and more
people know who the
now people are
Cobras
knowing
are.
who we are, and so it's starting to translate. So we're getting there.
We're getting there. Okay, we've got more to talk with you about, Brian, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the game day experience. It goes beyond the game. There's a lot of action happening on the field, around the field, and even outside of game times where fans can kind of get involved. We're going to talk with that more about that coming up right after this quick break. Welcome back to Gate City Insider. Today we're talking all about football in Greensboro. The National Arena Football League is here. The Carolina Cobras going into their second season now, coming off a national championship in their very first season in Greensboro. Brian Smith is with us. He's the VP of Business Operations for the Cobras. And I mean, talk about a Cinderella season. Wow.
It was. It came out of nowhere, but we're glad it did. But we always go in thinking we're going to win a championship. So
well, hey, go in feeling like a winner.
That's what we try to
dress
do
for the
every
part
year.
you want, isn't that
Absolutely.
what they say?
You dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So
right. Okay. So I know there are 8 players on the field, but I understand there's actually kind of a 9th player for the Cobras.
There is, and it started out as out of the blue. It was. Our first game last year, we had about 12 to 14 high school kids. And they were actually sitting over by our bench, and they just came up with all these unique chants and everything else. And and what was happening was our players were actually taking their allotted tickets, and actually they started out giving them tickets.
Oh, nice.
By the championship game, it grew to about 40 high school kids.
And you moved.
And we moved them over to by the visiting bench because they come up to and they drove them nuts.
Is this them?
Yes, that's over the kids right there. That is
that's
over
group,
when they were over sitting by us.
Okay.
And and it started out as just a small group of kids like that by the championship game it turned into probably about 40 kids.
That's amazing. And they were coming up with chants and really driving the opponents crazy.
Not only did they come up with chants, but they will actually go and find out stuff about the players on the teams.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden they'll start chanting stuff and
Heckling.
and they're clean and they're really good. They don't do anything bad, but I mean they got under our both in the playoff game and the championship, they just got under their skin because they just come up, they're constant. And it's just constant. And we've had season ticket holders that actually have moved their season tickets to go sit over by them because they're just
it's fun.
They're so much fun. So it was something totally out of the blue, but it's a big part of the game experience now.
Had that happened in other places you had coached before?
Not like that.
Not that quickly, I imagine.
Not that quickly, and just the way it it was just so amazing. From the first game on, it just grew, and it became to where now, we've taken care of their tickets and stuff like that. So because there's such a huge part of the experience.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
So let's talk about the experience because there's a whole lot more going on than just the game.
It really is. We used to have a term when I was with another team is, the there's a party going on and there just happens to be a football game going on at the same time. But there's so much going on. Our director of operations, Cassidy, does a great job of putting different things together. So you'll have, during timeouts, you'll have games that are being done for prizes. You'll have, our dance team. We do a lot of different entertainment. So there's so much going on just besides the football game.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It is, and you have our fans are able to come down to the field after the game, get autographs and things like that. So there's just so much going on. I think where people that have never been to one, they think it's like going to an NFL game, and it's really not. It's a whole different experience.
It's more immersive.
It really is, and you get you get so much interaction that you normally wouldn't get at at an NFL game or college game and things like that. There's just so much more interaction. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so if you're not sure about it, one thing you can do is you can watch it on TV live now, the home game.
You can sample it on TV. It's not the same experience, but we have a deal with My48. My48 televises all of our home football games live.
That's amazing.
The only one that will not be live is we have one game. It's on a Friday that it will be tape delayed in the Saturday time slot that we normally play. But it's a great way to see the product. You can't beat at a game, or if you've never been to one and you just want to kind of check it out.
Right.
It's a way to check it out. And then then I always say our tickets are, like for our game coming up, we do different ticket deals, and you can get tickets as low as $11. But
wow.
You have to come to a game. You have to be in the stands to fully get the whole experience. And I can promise, because I can say this, and I've rarely ever been wrong in 11 years, once you come to a game, you will become a fan and want to come again, because it's the whole experience. It's just a fun experience, rather than just where you're sitting at an outdoor football game and everything is just far away and you feel separated. When you come to an arena game, you're not separated. If you're sitting in the front row, player gets tackled, you may end up with him in your lap. You're going to get footballs that are coming into the stands. You got a chance to take a football home. So there's just so much that goes on.
Do you still have fun? I know it's a lot of work.
I have a lot of fun. I get to see the fun that other people are having, and for me, that's the fun part. Both from a coaching standpoint and also from a business standpoint. When I get to see the fans are having fun, when I get to see, when I was coaching, our players were having fun. Our players come up with some of the most creative dances you'll ever see. And I'm seeing
and
other
that's
people have fun.
encouraged, right?
Yes, we encourage it big time. Jordan Jolly is one of the most inventive dance people I've ever seen. So he's fun to watch. And in our last game,
if the football doesn't work out, he might have another career.
Our last game, he scored 5 touchdowns and came up with 5 different dances. So including the one where he caught over the wall and ended up dancing with the cheerleaders on the stage. So it's a lot of fun, and so I like to see other people that are having fun.
Yeah.
So that makes it fun for me.
So I know we're just at the start of the season, as you said, a long season all the way through the summer, with the championship still in end of August. Is that right?
Still in August.
And we hope to be there, certainly.
Yep.
And so let's tell people where you can see the games live on My48, of course.
Yes.
There's a coaches show also on My48.
There is a coaches show at 12:30 on Saturdays on My48. Myself, Billy Back, and we'll have a player every week on there. But it's a half-hour show, just kind of recapping the previous game, talking about the next game. We'll have a player spotlight segment, so that's also a lot of fun in a way for people to get to know us more.
Yeah, and if you're on the road and you can't see the game live in person, you can also watch it on YouTube.
You can watch it on
those are streamed
YouTube.
live on YouTube.
Yep.
And again, but you want to go to a game in person. These are so fun. So if you want to see them live, you can go. Season tickets and single game tickets are available by calling 336-455-7232 or go to carcobras.com. It's a lot of fun. You don't want to miss out. Thank you so much, Brian, for being
Thank you
with
so
us
much
today.
for
It's a
having
whole
me.
lot of fun. Come back to downtown. I'm going to take you around. We're going to make you more comfortable.
Yes, I need
It
a
is
map.
a really easy downtown to get around.
I
And
need a
once you
map.
get around, you're going to like it. It's
I
a
need
good
a map.
place to be.
So, thank you.
We can't wait. Good luck in the season. We'll
Thank
be
you.
watching for sure. Thanks again for joining us for Gate City Insider. Have a great day.